Diving algorithm is simply a combination of a mathematical model and a set of operational procedures for the diver. It is a natural progression when you apply more than the most rudimentary dynamics to dissolved gases and bubbles in the body. It's a natural extension. It's not rocket science. It's just a question of early models only looked at dissolved gases. Okay. Well, you know what? It's not dissolved gases that cause the bends. It's bubbles. So you're going, all right, there's dissolved gases, but they're not causing the bends. There's bubbles. We should put bubbles into our calculation. If we don't get the right kind of behavior for decompression diving. One of the intrinsic things about a model where you have bubbles and dissolved gases is that when you do decompression staging, to keep the bubbles under control, you make your decompression stops deeper than you traditionally did in the old ways that go back to the time of Haldane at the turn of the century. And there's a big difference between staging a diver to control bubbles early in the dive versus letting them come to the surface and then you treat the bubbles on the surface. The earliest versions of RGBM that came out on air computers was a very small subset of the general model in which the general dissolved gas approach was tweaked to fit the full-up bubble model. Now it turns out for light and very light decompression and no decompression diving, it turns out that bubble models collapse to dissolved gas models. Okay, there's some tweaking that we did in the first Suunto computer when you do reverse profiles. If there's very short time intervals, or if you're doing many dives a day, a week, there are certain bubble factors that can't be tracked in the classical approaches. So what we did at first was to take those features of a full-up bubble model and put it into a recreational dive computer. So Suunto did that in round one. To go further with trying to control bubble growth, round two was to put in what we call deep stops. Yeah. Okay, that then for Suunto, that went from only air and nitrox. Okay, which are mixes that are used generally throughout the world now by recreational divers, air and nitrox. That was step two, and that's the D9. Right. The new one, HelO, that is a full-up mixed gas dive computer that has helium in it, and it has a much more sophisticated approach of bubble mechanics on top of deeper and longer decompression diving. So from stage 1, stage 2 to stage 3, it's been a natural progression of putting more and more into the algorithm to give a better and better bubble model simulator.